That was unique, wasn't it? It was. They played well, and every team made mistakes, but every team made big plays. It had a lot of everything, not a little of everything, a lot of everything. And the proudest thing I am with these guys is how they never gave in. And there were numerous times that we could have won it. There were times that Penn State could have won it. There were times that we all could have lost it. And it really came down to a battle of wills. And I hope Pat is proud of his guys. I mean, this is not one of those films that we're all going to look at and say it was a masterpiece. But when you look at the way our group and you put it all in context with everything that they've been dealing with, and with the people that are out, and the roles that they're being thrust into, and then on top of that, have a game like this tonight, you know, with everything that it had. We've got to get better. There's no doubt about that, and the film will show that. And the next day, we get ourselves ready to improve and get ready for Wisconsin. But it'd be hard for me to be much prouder of them. I don't know if I could be, in the sense of how they battled through and did not give in. And when you're trying to build toughness, and you're trying to get an identity, and you've had your ups and downs, and you've had your adversities, and to have those guys play that way, play those kind of minutes, to make those kind of plays, it was fantastic. It really was. And the crowd was tremendous. The crowd gave us lifts throughout the entire evening, and stayed with us when we made mistakes. But what I'm most proud of is the way in those huddles, those guys, and there was only a couple moments where I had to interject and make sure that they knew they were okay. But for the most part, they were taking care of that. They kept talking to one another. We had some real growth tonight. And I've coached a long time. I hope I coach a while longer, but I will remember this one for the rest of my life, because watching them, from my vantage point, of going through what we go through, and what we have been dealing with, and watching these guys that we're trying to get to become more responsible for one another, lead through adversity, lead through the tough times, and to see that happen. Hopefully we'll build on it, but it's a pretty good memory for me to carry, and I think they will too. Go ahead. I haven't really studied the stat sheet, so I'm not going to be able to help you with many analytics and things like that.
I'll throw some stats at you.
I'm not really going to be very good with it, but go ahead.
Well, Thomas has 31 in 44 minutes. He had 13 in the first half alone. Just how important was it to get him going quickly? It felt like he had confidence kind of all night.
Thomas has responded very well, and in the sense since when James has gone down. I don't think we can put in context how much it affected that group, especially those sophomores when OG went down. And it's very easy to look at the basketball part, but the basketball part is a very, very minor part of their lives when it comes to a 24-hour day, with the amount of time that they spend together. And what Thomas is doing is he's understanding that he's gaining confidence because he's seen himself in more of a leadership role, as is Rob. The guy that deserves so much credit for Chuck did a fantastic job with this scout, and Rob did a fantastic job of making sure that I was aligned the right way during the game. But Tim Buckley, the shot doctor, has been hard at work with a couple of guys, and he deserves a lot of credit, for helping build the confidence in some of these guys that were in a bit of a funk with their shooting, or a bit of a slump with their shooting. And so Thomas is he works hard every day, and but right now he's even more purposeful than what he's been, and exactly what you'd want. I mean, it's a tough role for a 19-year-old to step into. He's a very good player, but to have to step into that leadership role at that age and have that responsibility on his shoulders, not only to play well, but to have his teammates play well, that's a big thing. So I'm very proud of him for that. That it?
Pete? Tom, we talked about the shot doctor with Tim.
That's what some of you guys call him. I think he's one of the great coaches I've ever. Maybe the players call him that. I don't know. He's one of the great coaches I've ever had the pleasure to work with.
I think Yogi gave him a shot.
Well, he's whatever it is he's doing. When he did it with Josh Newkirk, who'd obviously been struggling the last 3 games, and tonight he was lights out. About the way
Josh's stuff was very correctable. And it was just a matter of getting in the gym and really isolating some of that. He wasn't getting good lift on his shot. He wasn't, he has a tendency to hop into certain things, hence the bunny picture back a month ago, right? I mean, he hops at times rather than step and explode into it. And it's just a little bit of refining that. And then he wasn't getting the arc on his shot. I mean, those shots at Northwestern at times, they're right there, they're right on line. It's just there's not enough of a trajectory of the arc because he just kind of flat with it. And that's what he's worked on, getting better. And he made a couple, and he made such a great read, and I don't remember what was the end of the second overtime, when we called timeout with 6 seconds, and we had to be prepared for man or zone. And so we made a couple diversions to a set, and he made a great read. He made a great read on that layup. So and I don't know if he makes those shots, that he has that confidence at the end like that. So it's just amazing what happens. But he came out and set the tone defensively, and then he makes a couple of shots, and then the basket looks a lot bigger to him, and he did a great job with that. But it was very. There were just some technique things that had to be fixed, but Tim not only works with the technique. Tim does a great job of he really connects with those guys, and that he helps build confidence. And we've got staff and guys that do that. He does a great job of that.
The guys who win extended minutes, Robert goes for 50 minutes, 45 for Crean, 46 for Newkirk.
45 for Crean and 2 turnovers. I did see that stat. That was pretty impressive. Only 2 turnovers. Right? Now that's pretty impressive.
Right. What did you think of those guys being able to play so many more minutes than normal and have to keep making plays and get it done?
Test of wills. Great strength conditioning program. Great trainer. All right, great doctors because everybody plays a hand in this and something like that. When you can go above and beyond anything you've done, it doesn't just happen that night, right? It's because of the work that you put. I'd say the same with Penn State. I don't see any Penn State writers in here, but I'd say the same thing with them. They battle too, right? They got some older guys, they got some young guys, they battle too. But Lionel Anderson, those guys, they deserve a lot of credit because we concentrate throughout the year on building athleticism and those type of things too. But Dr. Tim, as Grant Galen calls him, Dr. Tim Garl, he's done a fantastic job. Those guys deserve so much credit. The players deserve the credit tonight, but the staff and the trainers and the strength coaches that continue to help build confidence in them and continue to help try to get them healthy and work with them like that. It's a product of that too. So I'm proud to be associated with all these guys like that. But you can tell I don't have a lot of, I'm not real tactful right now on what our numbers are. I'll study that later.
That's all right.
The game tire from Josh Newkirk.
The what now?
The game tying shot from Josh Newkirk. Was that exactly how you wanted to?
No, I just covered that, but that was, we have a set, we had to be prepared for man or zone, right? So we wanted to get a screen on the side, and we run an action where we duck in, and what we did is we just moved Rob. Instead of starting Rob someplace, we'd cut him out so we'd have a chance, if they helped on the post, to get a 3, it'd be open for a 3, we're going to take the best shot, or punch it in inside. And Josh came off the screen and made a great read that those guys weren't open and got to the basket. So he was part of the, we cleared Zach off to the side, so there should be nobody on the backside. And usually Zach would be in the corner looking to cheat in that play, but we lifted him. And that opened up the lane for Josh to make a read, and he made a fantastic read, but that's all him. It was an option, but it was an option that he found.
Were you looking at the replay while the...
No, I didn't think there was any doubt that counted. Was it close? Whatever.
Rick?
Not in terms of the winning and losing, but in terms of the team bonding or coming together in a game like this with all the ups and downs and adversity, can it have any kind of carryover effect?
Oh, I think so. Absolutely. You remember that? What I was thinking about. You were there. My second year at Marquette, it's Denny's last year, I think. Coach Crum, I should call him, not Denny. He's a Hall of Famer. But we had that triple overtime game. You were there, right? That's always lived with me. I've always lived with that, right? Like, we didn't win that game, and it was a battle of wills that night. It was senior night for Brian Wardle and those guys, and those are the things that really stay with you. So, like, this game was going on at the end, I was thinking of that, to be honest with you. And it's like, just looking back at those guys continuing to fight through it, no question they get better from that. no question, right? Because I don't think anybody's going to walk out of there and feel is going to have a big head because we played so great. We did have 70 deflections, you know, so I told them that's the new standard. You know, we got to find in 40 minutes. And we did have 66 points in the paint. And so those are some good things there. You know, we did a lot of good things, but we've got to get better. And being able to battle through something like that helps them understand they can do it again if need be. Anybody else?
Duran and those 2 free throws in the Sunday game and overtime. You know, in terms of mental toughness, you know, what can you
Yeah, and he had to withstand that guy that was standing up in the upper in the deck, the Penn State guy that was screaming every time we took a free throw. He made himself so well known. I was hoping I could wave to him after the game, but I didn't look up. I kind of lost my mind. That was pretty impressive, right? Got a guy screaming at the apex of the shot. Duran is a good free throw maker. If you go back and look at the stats over the last few games, last couple of weeks, he's really done a much better job. Spends a lot of time at it, and those were huge, right? But I mean, Devontae misses those shots, and as hard as that was for everybody to swallow, comes back out, makes big plays, right? That's when you get stuff like that. I mean, there's just no, and it could have been Curtis Jones tonight, right? It could have been Freddie, but it was Devontae, and it was Zach, and it was Duran, and those guys did it, and that's something that they can carry with them. And I have very little doubt that Duran would step up there and knock those down. Go ahead.
In the final overtime period, Josh knocks down that 3, and then Devontae goes swipe the end down and gets another layup. How big of a sequence was that?
You know, I didn't see I only saw the tail end of him making the basket because we were like trying to get our team down the court, right, when he hit the 3. So I did not see that yet until I see it on film. But it was huge. And by the crowd's reaction and our bench's reaction, it was a monumental play inside of a game that had a lot of big moments. Yes, sir.
What do you do to the practice schedule the next day after a game like this that was so demanding? Guys, you know, a handful of guys in 40 minutes.
We'll go about 6:30 in the morning. I may push it back to 7. No, I'm just joking. We play Sunday, so like we got to take a day off, and I'm not sure what that will be yet. You know, we'll figure that out. We don't over practice right now, anyways, and so it just becomes a matter. We'll get with the trainer and the doctors, and if we decided to go tomorrow, it would probably be tomorrow night, but it's very unlikely that we will. I could have gone either way. Practice Thursday, take Friday off, go Saturday, or take tomorrow off, go Friday and Saturday and play Sunday. So we have flexibility. But I'll get an update from the trainer and things like that. We won't be going at 6:30.
All right.
Anybody else? Anybody? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.